Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this month's Naugatuck River Greenway Steering Committee meeting. We're just going to jump right in to the agenda. I think I see a few new names. So let's go around and do introductions. I think what I'll do is I'll call on people as they appear on my screen, and then you can unmute yourself and say who you are and where you're from. So I'm Rista Malanka. I'm the co-chair of this Naugatuck River Steering Committee. Aaron, do you want to go?
Sure. Aaron Butters, I'm the Environmental Planning Director at NVCOG.
Christine.
Hi, my name is Christine O'Neill. I'm an environmental planner also with NVCOG.
Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Mangini. I live in Morris and kind of got involved with a bike ride a long time ago, several years ago with Waterbury YMCA, and it was to promote the Greenway and kind of look and see if we could stir that up again. Or I shot out an email to a few folks, including Aaron, and just wanted to gain some more information about the Greenway and what direction it's headed and how we can help support it. And with any luck, maybe even reintroduce that bike ride to become an annual thing. So just kind of listening in for now and seeing where things are at, and would love to follow up with some stuff down the road.
Great, thanks, Jason. James.
Jim Stewart, Public Works, Naugatuck.
Jerry. Jerry Lukowski.
Hi, Jerry Lukowski, Public Works, Watertown. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thanks, Jerry. Brian.
Hi, everyone. Brian Sirwich, Town of Seymour.
Vince.
Hi, Vince Schiefert, volunteer with the Naugatuck River Greenway Committee in Naugatuck.
Karen. Karen Cook.
Hi, good morning. It's Karen Cook, the Town of Oxford. Sorry, I was on mute. Good morning, everybody.
That's a good morning. Kevin.
Yeah, good morning. Kevin Ellis, Transportation Engineer here at NVCOG.
Great. Chris.
Hi, Chris Roberts, Connecticut DOT Project Coordination Unit.
And Judy.
Good morning, everyone. Judy Mancini with the City of Waterbury.
Great. Okay, so let's just make you all a little smaller. All right, next up on the agenda, we're going to discuss, and this is, I think, the meat of the agenda here, to talk about the 2023 NRG Trail Priorities Update. And I think you all should have gotten we talked about this at the last meeting. I know Aaron made some changes, sent a final draft. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review it. I don't know, Aaron, are there any specific updates you wanted to talk about, or do we just want to kind of go around the room and see if there's any other comments?
But a couple slides here if you want me to give a quick recap of what we went over last month, or actually in September. So in 2015, this group oversaw the development of a priorities document, and the sort of I guess the impetus is to provide an overview and context of all the different sections of trail, and then elevate the regional priorities for funding. So to give everybody a little bit more ammunition when you're looking for grants on these sections that are that this group deems as most important. So the document describes all the NRG trail sections, identifies sections that are completed or active, which means they're funded for design and construction, or those that are deemed regional priorities. And how we determined that in 2015 was developing criteria that sort of shows that importance, and those criteria are trail sections that connect to complete or soon to be complete sections of trail, or connect a complete trail or soon to be complete section of NRG trail with an important destination or a population center, or projects that require little investment or effort. So those low-hanging fruit sections, which there are still a couple of them out there. We updated the document in 2021, and at that time there were 7 priority sections listed. Section in Torrington, 1 in Harwinton, 1 in Watertown, 1 in Waterbury, 1 in Naugatuck, 1 in Beacon Falls, and the section in between Beacon Falls and Seymour. Since then, 2 of those projects have gotten funded for both construction and design. So the Watertown section is going to be funded under LOTSIP as soon as design is completed, which the town got funded under Rec Trails. And Waterbury received a big federal raise grant to build their second section into downtown. So those no longer need to be priorities since they've already been sort of taken care of. So, you know, with 2 big funding rounds, with a big funding round of Rec Trails coming up, and with some other federal programs out there, we thought it was a good time to update this yet again. So in September we went through sort of town by town, all of the trail sections, and asked these questions. You know, are those prioritization criteria still valid? Do we have accurate information? And are there other projects that should be prioritized? And I did get some feedback. We updated that draft. So I sent out an updated draft to you all last week. And what it shows is actually 8 priority sections. So the new sections are in Thomaston, so Watertown Road to Old Waterbury Road. And that is now sort of the gap in between 2 sections that are funded for construction. Waterbury indicated that their Mad River Spur, which they just got funded for design under Rec Trails, was a city priority. So that'll connect the second phase of the Naugatuck River Greenway, which is being constructed under Rays, to a brand new city park on Mill Street. And then the Derby Ansonia below grade crossing of Division Street. We also discussed at that meeting as being a priority. And that's, you know, a very short section. It's a little complex, but it'll really improve safety at that crossing at Division Street, which is a pretty dangerous spot. So that is what is in the document. So we did get a few other comments. One of them was about you know, realistic construction estimates. So a lot of the estimates that we had in the previous document were from routing studies that were done way back in 2010, or, you know, project applications that we were aware of that, you know, could have been 5 or 6 years old. You all know that construction costs have gone way up. So we took a look at all of those with Kevin, our transportation engineer here at NVCOG, figured out what date those estimates were from, and then we applied inflation factors to them. So all of the figures that are now in the updated document reflect that. So some of these went, you know, 50-60% higher than those original estimates. So, you know, I think as long as, you know, we trust those original estimates, then, you know, this is probably a much more realistic current cost estimate than what was in that previous document. So I just want to make you all aware of that being sort of the big change. So, you know, with all of that, and you know, happy to have a discussion and answer questions, but, you know, we're recommending today that this committee endorse this document.
So are there any, thank you, Aaron, that was very helpful. Are there any comments or questions or thoughts on this before we look for a vote?
I can go back. This is sort of the meat of it, I guess, is the, those priority sections.
Sorry, so I was a little bit late getting on here. My name's Carrie. I'm the Harwinton Park and Rec Director. I took over for Suzanne Stitch, who I know used to join these meetings and was involved, but I looked and I don't have too much about the Harwinton section. The only time I've ever talked to my first selectman about it, I know that there was a meeting and people put up a real stink about one of the routes because there's like an ATV section. So is this route that you guys have, it's the one that was not not the ATV section of Litchfield or whatever that they were putting up a fuss about?
Yeah, that's right. So the section that is here, so this is actually the one low hanging fruit that we have listed in here. It's along Valley Road, so in between sort of Campbell Hill Road and Wildcat Hill Road.
Okay.
Sort of an on-road, shared road situation that was recommended in the Torrington to Thomaston routing study that was completed in 2020.
Okay.
So I think the concept in that plan was basically putting up some signs, share the road signs, maybe taking some actions to slow down speeds. But, there was only a few hundred cars a day we counted down there. So it's a very low volume, low speed roadway that we thought, could be a sort of an easy way to complete a section and safely without, spending a lot of money. So yeah, it's not on core property. It's a town road.
Okay.
Did you have any opposition to that, or just wanted to make sure it wasn't part of that?
No, I just wanted to make sure it was it wasn't the one that I had heard horror stories about. So, and because I obviously can't see a map, but I knew it was always between Litchfield and Harwinton, in that sort of area. So just wanted to double check and make sure that that was the right one.
Great.
As I have a question, Brian Sirwich, Town of Seymour. Aaron, can you go back to the table of costs and fees?
Sure.
How old are those numbers for the costs and fees? And if they're a couple of years old, should we consider putting in a contingency for what the new market would probably be for construction, or just explain that a little bit further, please?
Yeah, so what we did was anything that was more than a year old or so, we went back and applied, and Kevin's on the call here. Kevin can describe exactly what factors he applied to them. Kevin, you there?
Yeah, here. I have to find my mouse. So I used the government inflation calculator to basically take any past prices and brought them to present day. And then I'm not sure if it's also included in the document. I applied any inflation factors following the Connecticut DOT estimating guidelines for any future years. They are assuming a 5% inflation per year. So I'm not sure if that information was included, but it's also there.
Yeah, we didn't put that in, but we did put all the past inflation rates are applied.
Right,
so for instance, like Waterbury 1, I think was like $10.9 million in 2010 was the estimate. And with inflation factors applied, it's now $16.8 million. So it's
okay. You're seeing a significant whatever maybe. Yeah. Great, thank you.
And these are all just guidelines. They're like I said, a lot of the original estimates that we're basing these on were from 2010 from the routing studies that were done then. So it's just a guideline, really.
But more than anything, I think when you do this, it helps with planning, but it also helps to put into perspective the bigger sections, the more expensive sections, kind of just with our priorities and different things about, the scale of those different sections of what's needed and not needed. I think that's helpful. All right. Other questions? All right, so if there's no other discussion or comments, Aaron has a recommended motion. Does anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the draft 2023 project priorities document as prepared.
Second.
It's Jim. All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Is there any opposed? All right. That passes. That's good news.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, now we want to get into some project updates and reports. So we'll kind of go around, see who's here for these. So first on the list, Torrington ribbon cutting. So we did have a ribbon cutting here in Torrington. This is a section that connected two open pieces of trails. It's primarily on, well, it was primarily on road. But if you look at the bottom left photo on this, you'll see we took a two-way road and we made it one way. And then we put barriers in a curb line separating the trail from the street. So it's really an urban trail right in downtown, connecting the senior center to one of our very popular parks. And then it turns into a bit of a wooded trail. This is now about 2 miles of trail, or just shy of 2 miles, that is constructed and open and moving forward. So that was pretty exciting. And we do have a beacon system there that flashes once you push the button and somebody's trying to cross. So we were pretty excited for both of those design features to be in Torrington. First time for both of those. Next, Ansonia routing study. I don't see Sheila. Aaron, did you have an update on that?
No, I was actually wondering, I know it was just about done last time we spoke to them. So I was just wondering if they had published the report or if any of that was available, but I don't have an update.
Okay. The Waterbury Raise Grant, Judy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. On our project, we have engaged AI to do design on this project, where we're in preliminary design right now and working on our NEPA. Everything's on track and on target. So we've engaged a vendor 2 for constructability review for the project, and it's good. We're all on track. We're excited about starting.
That's great. Derby Shelton Bridge. I know Jack couldn't be on today. He did send an email that they did get funding for the repair of that bridge. Was there any other update on that, Aaron?
So on the Derby Shelton Bridge, so these are images that were taken probably about a month ago. So you can see the progress that they're making on the bridge. They actually moved traffic to the north side, which is already completed. And now they're working on the south side of the bridge, which is where there'll be a pedestrian causeway and bike path. So I think, I can't remember if that one was, let's see, spring 2024 is the planned completion. Although I heard there was some delays with utility work. So I'm not positive now. And then the bridge that Jack was talking about is the pedestrian bridge that goes over the rail on the Housatonic River side of the Naugatuck River Greenway. It was installed in, I think, 2016, but there were some issues with the installation, so it needs to be really overhauled. Parts of the bridge that were sort of resting on the abutments are deteriorating rapidly. So it was exciting that the town approved spending to get that fixed.
And then the Derby Route 34.
Yeah, the pictures on the upper right and center right are of Route 34. You can see the wide sidewalk. There's a parking area sort of near Derby Shelton Bridge there that'll be used for trailhead parking for the Greenway, which you can see on the far left of that top photo. So they're really sort of making a lot of progress there, and you know, that again, that's a month ago, so I think all those pavers are probably in now. Those are pervious pavers, so you know, there's spaces in between those red pavers and gray pavers that let water through, so sort of a green infrastructure treatment along Route 34, so it's pretty nice to see.
Awesome. And Kinneytown Dam, I know there's been a lot with that.
So yeah, I guess the update I can give right now is that we are still planning to have the Connecticut Brownfield Land Bank take ownership of the dam and dam property, while we use the $15 million NOAA grant that we received to do design and begin deconstruction of the dam. Some issues have come up with during the due diligence that the Brownfield Land Bank is doing. So acquisition's been delayed a little bit, but we still do expect that you know, within the next 6 months at the latest. So I guess the big thing, there's a whole lot of sediment behind Kinneytown Dam, and then behind a second dam that's part of the facility. So all of that sediment has to be dealt with at some point, and we need to know what's in it. So EPA is, we've asked EPA to do an assessment, and they're doing that through a targeted brownfield assessment program at Region 1. So we're trying to get contractors out there to do core samples in the sediment. And it's proving a little bit difficult, but we do have a site walk next week with EPA and their contractor. So that'll be the next big step to really, sort of characterize the site and understand what we can and can't do with all that sediment that's there. So we are making progress. It's a really complicated project, but it's also very exciting. So we'll definitely keep you up to date.
Thanks, Aaron. So I want to open it up to any other conversation or updates that anybody else wanted to give at this point. You can just unmute yourself and Chris, is there anything from DOT that we should know about?
Nothing I have to report today.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, and I see Kim Bradley jumped on the call. Next on our agenda is talking about funding submissions and opportunities and the Deep Rec Trails grant. So I don't know, Kim, if you had any general updates that you wanted to provide, and then maybe we can just go right into the next agenda item if you want to give an update on the Rec Trails grant.
Sure. So we, as the subcommittee of the Grant Review Committee on the Greenway Council, met. Just so everyone knows, there's no substantial changes to the Rec Trails grant application, but what we did do is kind of separate a lot of the information into a guidance document to make the application itself a bit more fillable. So just some structural changes to the application itself, no substantial changes to what the information requested is. So those that may have submitted an application that was unsuccessful, you're more than welcome to meet with me and resubmit on those projects. So we have been approved by the Bond Commission for $10 million, and we anticipate review internally for DEP will hopefully be done by the end of the month. So we're anticipating about a December 1st launch date for our RFP, most likely with a submission date by March 1st. So that should be opening very soon. And there will be a webinar within the January timeframe. probably right around the same time that we had last year to go over tools for your application. And our team will actually be doing some presentations at the upcoming Kakiwik conference this weekend, as well as the CRPA, and I will be at the Connecticut Municipalities Conference the end of the month as well. That's about it.
Great, thanks, Kim. Okay, so last call for any other roundtable kind of conversation, if anybody had anything.
As everybody that received Rec Trails grants last round, all have contracts, I think. Is that right?
So I think
We're still working on it in Waterbury.
Okay.
Yep, and I will
we're
note
still-
that's a good. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We're still working on it in Watertown too.
So I think we're about half of the groups here, Aaron, have their contracts in place. What I will note, so Waterbury, Watertown, I think Thomaston is still working on it as well. Anyone who's still working on contracts, please be in touch with me. There is a slight change to the contract, so don't sign off yet. We will be getting back to you with one line that's being added to our general information. So definitely, I'll send an email out to both of you as well as Thomaston, but make sure that you contact us before you get that final signature, because we want to make sure you have that one additional line, and then it should move pretty efficiently through our process.
Great, thank you, Kim.
And so I'm just curious, are there and we can talk more about this for a future meeting, but from the people on the call, are you expecting or planning to submit applications in the next round? What's, do you have projects that are getting ready for either design or construction funding that this could be a good funding source for? I think typically, go ahead.
I'll hop in since nobody else has, but I expect Seymour to apply for either a routing study or something to assist with the SIF application that we're submitting on as well for the Bank Street to Toby Pond trail. So Seymour will be submitting. We're just not really, it'll be one of the three areas. The loop around the Fish Passage, the Bank Street to Toby's Pond, or maybe working south in some way.
Great, thank you.
I think I would love to apply for some of these sections, but I think we me and then some people in Litchfield have to meet with some, like Aaron, other people on your committee to kind of talk about what sections should we submit for, and kind of put like a committee together on who's going to be on it, because I've been here for just over a year and I've come to these meetings, but I don't know what I should be doing, if there should be more people other than just me doing this. So I would definitely love to set up a time to talk about what are the sections we should be applying for, but I also think it should probably involve somebody from Litchfield. So
yeah, and I see Cleve is on the call, and I know we did talk with Mark McCarthy, so there's interest, I think, around. So maybe Carrie, if you wanted, so for full disclosure, today's my last day working in Torrington, and I'm transitioning to work for the Northwest Hills Council of Governments. I plan to stay chair of this committee and continue to do the work that we've been doing. But just for that transition period, maybe Carrie, if you can reach out to Aaron and see if we can get a meeting scheduled maybe in the next week or two with all the different people to start coordinating. And
yeah,
so
that works.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? So I think typically this committee does review applications and we give support letters and recommendations. If you are planning to submit an application and want a support letter from this committee, I see later in the agenda, we are setting our meeting schedule. So I would plan for the February 14th meeting to have everything to Aaron. And in that meeting, we will review the proposals and the committee will vote for a recommendation. So as you're thinking about this and planning, just kind of keep that date in mind for that. Some other funding submissions and opportunities that are out there. There's the RAISE program, which is federal funds. The Community Investment Fund, which there's certain municipalities, distressed municipalities that are eligible to apply. This is the type of project that could be funded under that program, and the TA program through DOT, but I don't think there's a solicitation out there right now for that, right, Aaron?
No, there's not.
And is the community connectivity grant through DOT opened, or is there expected to be future rounds of that? I don't know.
It's not open currently. We're working on our last round applications, but I believe there's going to be future rounds going forward.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Any
Chris, I could
other?
just say one thing about RAISE. RAISE is really for large federal programs. I think the upper limit's $25 million. Waterbury was very successful in getting a RAISE grant to do a piece of the to construct a piece of the Greenway. They were also successful in RAISE's predecessor, Tiger. So they're big, complex applications, but there's a big payoff. And they've definitely shown that they're willing to fund trail projects. So we've been talking around here in the office about maybe packaging a few sections of Greenway up into one application. So we're still sort of in preliminary discussions here, but we'll be reaching out to some of the communities too to see if there's interest. The big thing is with that big price tag comes a big match as well. So we've got to find the match as well. But I think it's worth thinking about. I see Rich Donovan on the line. I don't know if he has anything else to add about RAISE. I think we're expecting a NOFO any day now, right?
Yeah, last year it came out right around the middle of November with the end of February application deadline. And we're kind of expecting something similar this year. Like Aaron said, it's a complex application. It's a 30-page narrative. There's the cost benefit analysis work that needs to get done. But because the awards can be so big, it really can get some significant work done. And so, like you said, right, we've been talking about it as something that maybe we take on as a region to help get a few pieces built, or help to connect pieces that are already built. But certainly the COGs are equipped to assist municipalities who would like to consider it.
All right. So I want to move on in the agenda and talk about the events and public outreach. I will give a quick recap, and then Aaron or Kim, if you wanted to jump in, you can, on the Connecticut Trail Symposium. So this year we held the Connecticut Trail Symposium in Torrington. It was a pilot program to really identify how can a municipality or another organization partner with the Connecticut Greenways Council and the state Trails Department to really expand what the symposium is like and the opportunities that we can bring to the state And so this year, I'm going to work backwards. On Friday, we held the traditional Connecticut Trail Symposium. It was very well attended. We had over 100 participants and some phenomenal speakers. It was at the 5 Points Art Center in Torrington with an auditorium and some breakout rooms and networking opportunities. We had sponsorships for the first time that had a chance to table and start talking to people. And I think it was a really great event. A lot of energy, a lot of support, and, you know, really the base of that, the day and the week was about connections, and not just, you know, connecting trails, but people's connections to trails, and how being outside and walking in urban trails and rural trails connect people to each other, connect people to places, improve mental health, you know, and are just create vibrant communities. So it was like just a great symposium. If you weren't able to make it this year, you know, be on the lookout for next year and go from there. We also, I'm going to work backwards. Kim, we went to the trail conference, and I think Aaron was there too this year, and met up with the urban hikers, who are 3 Black gentlemen from Cincinnati. And they talk about their experience in walking and breaking down barriers and conflict resolution. And they have a documentary, which is Why We Walk. So on Thursday, we did a screening of the movie with the documentary, which was phenomenal. And they were here to talk with us about their experience and about their movie. And that was really great. And we hiked the John Brown Trail with them, which is the photo you see up on the right. And then on Wednesday, we had a series of mobile clinics at Norbrook. We had mountain biking clinics at Sunnybrook. We had rock rigging demonstrations and bog bridge building demonstrations, and various things throughout the day, all well attended. And then on Tuesday night at the Warner Theater, we had the World Trail Film Festival, which has been shown in 7 different countries. This was the first screening in New England, so we were happy to have it in Connecticut. So altogether, I think it was great. Opportunities for, you know, partnerships next year or ideas, I think would be appreciated. And Kim, I don't know if you want to add to that, because you were there for the whole event, the whole thing, and such a big part of it.
Yeah, I have to say, it was an incredible collaboration. So our subcommittee who did the planning for the Trail Symposium just kind of knocked it out of the park. And I do have to give a huge shout out for Laura Giannotti, because she helped us work through this year's effort. And you know, Rista, again, huge applause in terms of being able to pull all this together and really expand the offerings we had within the Trail Symposium. I am gonna put a form that we have. So we're completing a follow-up survey. So anyone that was able to attend, please do fill out a survey to give us your feedback on your experience at the symposium and what you were able to attend, etc. Our subcommittee will use that in kind of pulling ourselves together, reviewing what we did this year and planning for next year. And the other piece we want to offer is what Rista really pulled together in Torrington is a potential for other communities. So if there's another community that's interested in hosting this symposium and thinks they have what we need, we're more than happy. Rista or myself can go over what we need for hosting an event like this, the space, and some of the other aspects of it. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'd like to do that, similar to what we've been doing with the June event, where we do our Greenways Awards and provide notification of new greenways throughout the state. So yeah, this is incredible. We've gotten nothing but really great feedback, and definitely want to keep the energy going when we have all this funding and energy going through trails within our state. I think the most important piece of all of this is to continue to closely collaborate between our agencies, between our partner organizations, and really make sure that we are united in the direction that we're taking with all of this. So that's pretty much what I have to add. Narissa did a great job of summarizing everything we did, but yeah, I definitely think it was a really, really incredible event, and I think we'll see nothing but growth as we move forward. Oh, I do want to add one more thing. So I'll also post the information from the symposium. So those that weren't able to attend, you can access the information that was provided from the different presentations and different organizations that participated. So we do have access to presentation materials and otherwise, and so you can still kind of tap into the information that was shared, even if you weren't able to make it to the actual event. And thank you for UConn for hosting that through their webpage.
Great, thanks, Kim. So the photo on the bottom is, I think, the bike ride that Jason had mentioned in the very beginning that he went on. I see John Monroe there. And there is, you know, some conversation about, do we do another bike ride or some kind of event for this? I just wanted to kind of get, you know, everybody's, I don't know, Aaron, if you had specific thoughts, but my thought was, you know, kind of see what there is for support for this, and if maybe like a little subcommittee can work on it, or you know, start to pull some of that information together. Is that your thought, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's going to take some work. And Jason, I don't know, you know, are you still involved with the Waterbury Y? You know, I think we would need some partners like that to really, you know, help us out on this.
Definitely agree. I'm in touch with some of those folks. I don't get out with them as much as I used to, but I definitely see them around. I'd be happy to try to bridge that gap there and see who I could reach out to and who I get involved. Some of the original members, Chris Gibbs and some of the key players, I don't know if they're still involved, but I could see who is. And then there's also people up in Torrington who are pretty active. You guys might know Marty Connor. I'm sure I could pull some folks from that area as well, but happy to work on this end of things with the outreach and some sort of activities to add to that element.
I think that'd be great. And I, you know, I would be happy to be, you know, part of that conversation where it's appropriate, and, you know, reach out to some of the Torrington Y. Marty is perfect. He's on the Y board and also a huge advocate for trails in our region. So if there's other people, you know, who are interested, please reach out to us and let us know, and maybe we can get a small working group if we can get some partners that are interested in this. You know, all of it costs money, time, effort to do this planning. So the more hands here, the more likely this is to happen, and come up with what that might be. And before we go too far, you know, off of that, is there anybody who had any other ideas or thoughts about this, or, you know, kind of keeping in the same theme of this this bike ride?
Well, there's definitely a lot more sections open now than there were 10 years ago. So, you know, I think it would be really cool to lead a ride and try to hit as many of those sections as we can. And maybe, you know, follow the future route as well in some cases.
Yeah, I agree. I think
this was the first meeting I've sat in on, and it's encouraging to hear and see all the work that's already been put in. I think coming back with a ride only reemphasizes, hey, like, there's a lot of energy behind this and people are excited for it. And if they see people coming out for big rides, it just I don't know, it helps really promote that from the, civilian bike riding, walker, runner side of things a lot. And it really puts it more in the forefront. You guys are doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I don't know if everybody is aware of that, but when they see people using it, I think it really puts it in front of them a lot more. And so it should be celebrated. And I think if we spread that message to local bike shops, communities, YMCAs, things of that nature, I see a lot of positive things that come out of it.
Right. All right. So, I guess, Jason, if you want to start to reach out and see if there's anybody at the Y or partners that can start, and we will start a group conversation kind of offline. Anybody else who wants to be part of that conversation, please let us know. More hands, the better.
Perfect. Thank you.
Then is there anything else at other events, ribbon cuttings that we should be aware of?
Yeah, so every spring, and I guess it's already time to start thinking about the spring, we do a bunch of Earth Day events around the region and, spring fairs and stuff like that. And everyone I've gone to, I get a lot of questions about the Greenway. People really want to talk about it. I usually bring along some materials and reports and stuff to show off. So, if there's something like that in your community, we've got all the materials here. We may be able to, bring our tent down and set up for the day too. But we can certainly, lend materials and signs and things like that to help promote if you have something going on in your town. So, let us know well ahead of time and we can definitely help you.
Great. We're moving right along today. And the agenda. So 2024 proposed meeting schedule. We're going to continue to meet quarterly. Here are the 4 dates. I think I think we all kind of like field trip meetings when we get the opportunity to have them, or there's new sections of trails open or different things to see and explore. So if you have, something you kind of want to highlight or show off or do a lead or a walk or something, please let us know and we can build that into the meeting schedule. I know years ago, before 2020, we were meeting, I think, almost monthly, right? And we were in a different location every month, and that was great. I think we're going to stick with quarterly meetings, mostly virtual, unless we have like a field trip opportunity to do. So please let us know if you have any field trips you want us to take.
And also speakers, we try to think about who we can have, come and sort of make this a learning experience too. So if there's any, projects you think are interesting and, we'd like somebody to come talk about it, we can track people down too. So, please let me know or let Rista know, what you guys want to see and we'll try to work it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other business?
So there's a couple things, and Rich, I don't know if you want to, is Rich still on? Yeah, Rich. We've got a couple things going on at NVCOG. I thought you guys would all be interested in.
Yeah, so just one of those. We are in the middle right now of an active transportation plan for our region. We actually spoke about this, I don't know, it was a while ago on one of your steering committee meetings. And we are thankfully making some slow but steady progress on it. And so, really the key for the NVCOG region is looking at ways we can connect everything that is not part of the trail to the trail, right? Making safe connections between key destinations, between other multi-use paths and our downtown areas back to the Naugatuck River Greenway as kind of that main north-south route through our region. So we'll be working on that. We'll be seeking feedback. Would appreciate any any ability to share surveys as we put them forward, and certainly any feedback from this group on that plan. And then the second item that we have going on we're excited to announce we were recently awarded a Safe Streets for All grant in this last round of this new federal program. It's in its second year now, and so we'll be receiving money to do an update to our region's regional safety plan and to turn it into a true Vision Zero safety action plan. In case anybody does not know, back in September of 2022, the board of the NVCOG adopted a Vision Zero goal to eliminate all fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways by 2060. And so this funding will help us, advance the planning work to get to there. And again, this, in our region, right, the Greenway is a really active source of active transportation for us, a really an important asset. And so we'll be looking especially at safety around the Greenway, as well as at other key key locations throughout our region that have high crash rates and certainly high fatality rates, and putting forward plans to help address those. And so similarly, any feedback from any of you would be greatly appreciated, and we'll be bringing forward updates on this work as we move forward.
Great, thank you. All right, Aaron, any other updates?
And we got a few minutes. I can show off the new Connecticut Trail Census data dashboard if you guys are interested in seeing it. So this was developed with a Rec Trails grant. Thank you, Kim. So this is the Connecticut Trail Census has been tracking trail use on Greenway trails since 2017. And we just developed this new dashboard to sort of, look at and play with all of that data that's been collected. So it's kind of neat. You can select different trails over here. So this group is probably most interested in Derby. So you can select by clicking over here. You can select by clicking on the map, and all of the data on this dashboard changes as you make selections in the map or on the list. So you can see in 2022, 250,000 trips taken on the Derby section of Naugatuck River Greenway. You can see the hourly use on weekdays, weekends, and all uses by the day of the week, by the month. It's actually interesting, just how much use some of these trails are getting in the winter. Even, well, last year was was not much of a winter, but there's a lot of useful information in here as you go through. In 2023, we don't have all of the data up yet. We're downloading it quarterly, so we still haven't gotten up the third quarter of data yet, but you can go all the way back to 2017. You can, zoom in. So say you're interested in, just trails, in a certain area, you can select them like this. So a lot of functionality in there. And then also we have a yearly comparison dashboard. So it looks over time at uses on trails. So when you sort of open it up, this is basically all of the data from all of the trails it's showing. But if you click, again, I'll click on Derby. You can see, how use has changed over time. You can also see where, counters malfunctioned, and, we didn't have a complete data collection in 2019 because of that. On some trails, you can really clearly see the bump from in 2020 during COVID, how many more people were getting out there on trails. Some of them are more evident than others, but I think it's a useful tool. It was designed so that we'll be able to take partner data as well and incorporate it. So I know NVCOG has some counters that aren't included in here now, but we're going to try to get them up next year and in the coming years. And if if you all have, I don't think anybody else has any counters out on the Naugatuck River Greenway, but if you have other counters or you're interested in, putting counts up here, we can also, the Connecticut Trail Census can do short-term counts and include those in here as well. So, we can, try to get as much information as we can about trail use. So I will drop the link to this dashboard in the chat, and also I'll send it out. But yeah, have fun playing with it. It's a big improvement over what we had before, and I think it's really interesting to be able to navigate through the data like this.
Thanks, Aaron. That's incredible. Come such a long way. And feel like what's a short amount of time, but it's been 5 years already.
Yep.
All right, with that, I'll give everybody back an extra half hour of their time, unless there's any comments.
Marissa, can I just jump in for 1 second?
Sure.
Kim, I just wanted to update you. Our contract for the rec trail spur was signed and approved by our Board of Aldermen in October. So I don't know what that means for us, but our board, we'd have to get approval again from our board for any changes to the contract. And so we have a new mayor that was just elected last night. So we wouldn't be able to bring that before our board until December. So I didn't know if we should speak offline about this or how we handle that.
I don't,
she may have stepped away, so I'll follow up with her.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you in February.
Thank you,
everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.